Hey, all you hangry people. Valentine's Day is right around the corner. So instead of the usual stuff, give them something from the heart. So we're going to be whipping up some white chocolate cranberry bars with pecans. I hope you enjoy. You want to set your oven to 350 and you're going to bake this in a 9 by 13 pan, but since my 9 by 13 pan isn't going to fit in the style that we're going to bake this in, I'm using two 9 by 9 rounds. And I'm going to go get the butter to grease my pan with. Here's tip number 1. Use your empty butter wrappers. When you're done taking your butter out, stick them in the freezer. And you've got all this extra butter that you can use to grease your pan with. See how much butter is in there? Wait. We're going to sprinkle some flour on here. Shake the dish. Get that flour all around. Pretty simple. And we're going to set these aside. We're going to take our white chocolate. We have one bag of 11.5 ounces of white chocolate chip. And I have 5 tablespoons of butter cut into pieces. And we're going to melt this. And if you were going to melt it, maybe you want to melt it in a double boiler. I don't have a double boiler. So today I'm going to use the microwave. I'm going to put this in for 30-second intervals and stir. Once I see the chocolate getting shimmery, then I know it's time to stir it more and it might be ready. So I put it in for 30 seconds and we're going to give that a C. Stop. Alright, let's take a look. The butter's melted well. I'm going to put it in for 30 more seconds. And when you're stirring your chocolate, use a rubber spatula. You don't want to use a wooden spoon because it can absorb into the wood, and any water that may be in that spoon will wreck your chocolate. You don't want water to get into your chocolate. Oh, the butter's melting well. So all we're going to do is get this melted. And then we're going to put it aside because we're going to add this to our mixture. And back to the chocolate. I got ahead of myself and I put in the whole bag of chocolate. And then I realized after I reread the recipe that I only needed 1 cup. So I went ahead and got out another bag of chocolate chips and I melted the 5 tablespoons of butter and 1 cup of chocolate. So we're going to put this aside and we got the rest of our chips here. We're just going to put that aside for now. Then we're going to go to our, I guess I need a bowl for this. All right, I've got the large bowl. We're going to add 2 large eggs, and if you've ever cracked eggs before and you don't know what you're going to come up with, crack it into a dish separately and to find out that you have good eggs. So that was good. All right. So we're going to put in the eggs. And we got 1 cup of sugar. And a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And if you are cooking and you do a lot of baking, vanilla extract is a must for you. If you have never made your own vanilla extract, know that you can. Just get yourself a container with a cover. Grab some vanilla beans from the store. These are organic vanilla beans. We'll open them up. Take out the vanilla bean. And you want to use a knife and just score across the bean. I'm not going to do this, but I am going to show you what I have here. And you put it, just 2 ingredients, the vanilla bean and organic vodka. And you'll want to put it in the container. This is an old container. You can see there's already some in there. And store it in your cabinet. Shake it up a couple times whenever you look at it, and you can use it within 8 weeks, but it's best to store for 6 to 12 months. Don't forget to add your vanilla. 1 teaspoon. Okay, we are going to beat this with an electric mixer. Okay, Mark. Okay, let's get this on. We're going to beat this until it's thickened and pale. And once that's done, we're going to add our melted 1 cup with butter of the white chocolate. We're going to get that nice and thickened and have it turn pale. I don't know. Our eggs were pretty golden. We will see. All right, you can see it's getting a little bit thicker and lighter. Not quite done. All right, I think we were at our chocolate in now. We're going to beat that for a little bit. Get all that out of there. Every last bit of goodness. We're just going to beat that in for a little bit. All right, we got that all blended up. We're going to get rid of the blender or the mixer. And we're going to put in our flour. And when you're putting in flour, you want to make sure that you use a spoon to dig your flour out of the bag. Well, ours is in a bowl. And the reason you're doing that is because if you just scoop out all the flour and put in a cup's worth, you're going to get a lot more flour than you really need in your recipe. Just like that. Kind of top it off. Put that in. Look at how much more flour there was. Then we're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. My recipe, or this recipe, calls for using unsalted butter. I had salted butter. So I am going to omit the salt out of my recipe. But if you have unsalted butter, you would want to add 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I will not be adding that because I use salted butter. Okay, we're going to toast our almonds. I've just got our, I guess they're pecans. I've got my pecans all chopped up. I'm putting them on some parchment paper. And did you know that you can reuse your parchment paper after you're done using it? Just wash it, let it dry, and it's good to go for many more uses. Put that in the toaster oven here at 325 for about 4 minutes, 4 to 5 minutes. All right, we've got our toasted nuts here. We're going to let that cool. We're going to stir our flour mixture with the chocolate just until mixed or combined. Then we're going to add in the nuts, which was 1/2 cup. And we're going to add in 1 cup of sweetened cranberries and the remaining chips. We'll get that all stirred in, and then we're going to put it into pans. Okay. All right, we're going to add the nuts. 1 cup of sweetened dried cranberries. I suppose you could use cherries too. And the rest of the bag of the white chocolate chips. I'm going to just stir it up, get it mixed up well. Looks great. And we're going to evenly divide this up into these 2 pans, somewhat evenly. Okay, we're going to finish getting all this goodness out. I don't know how this is going to turn out, since this one's a lot fuller than the other pan. Maybe it'll rise enough where it won't matter. Yeah, they're not really going to be bars because they're not square, but we don't care. Finish off in this other one. And you can see it's not very thick in this one, but that's okay. All right, we're going to take it to the sun oven. Wait till you see that. And here we are. This is our sun oven. This is a all American sun oven. And I put this outside and got this going about an hour ago. We've got a temperature of about 375. We're supposed to cook it at 350, but I'm not going to worry about that. I am going to set one of these in. You can see these little latches right here that keep the door closed. We're just going to open that up. Our rack is in here. I can feel all that heat coming right out at me. And we've got this all leveled so that when I set this in, it'll stay nice and even. So it'll cook even. I'm just going to air out the oven just a little bit and get it back down to 350. And then we are going to let this cook for 30 to 35 minutes. And we'll check on it every now and then. You can see the temperature is going down. And we are at 350. So I am going to close it. And you just close those up. And there it is. Let me do it. Okay, if you can see that the brownie dish, whatever it is, I don't even know anymore. It's bars. They are definitely cooking in here. It is 350, a little bit more than 350, but they are cooking rather well. It's a little unlevel, but we don't care. So we'll check that in about 10 minutes to see if it's done. Okay, it's been about 35 minutes. We're going to test our bars to see if they're done. We're going to open this up. This is hot. And I've got a toothpick. So I'm going to test for doneness. Ooh. I don't know, it might be a little soft on the bottom. But I think we'll be okay. We're going to take it out. Be very careful. Look at that. My oven mitt did dab into the the bars right there, so whatever. It's still good. Okay, we took the bars out of the sun oven. You can see it's nice and light. I did take this out a little too early, and I put it back in for about 8 to 12 minutes longer. And this one I decided I would bake in the oven. So you can see there's difference here, and I did cook it a little longer than probably necessary. We let it cool, and now we're going to cut into it and see how yummy they are. And you're probably thinking, why would she go through all the trouble of putting it in a sun oven? Well, when you live in the up north and you've got winter going on, it's just nice to get out in the sunshine. But look at that. This is the one that was in the oven. And this is the one that was in the sun oven. It didn't get done all the way. When you are cooking in the sun oven, you really need to cook it a little bit longer than normal. So let that be a lesson to myself. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed your little adventure, and I hope that you make something wonderful for your loved ones on Valentine's Day. And they're waiting patiently for a treat, but they're not getting this. And even though it didn't turn out that great, it was made from your heart with love. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and ring that bell